the Pacific Northwest? Are you willing to live are you willing to change your lifestyle, change your position?
The answer that Vaush should be giving here is, Vaush should say, of course, if there was no other alternative, I would be willing to give up a certain standard of living to ensure the comfort of other people around the world. However, I don't believe that it is necessary that people in the West need to make a massive sacrifice to their standard of living. I think that we can uplift everybody to Western standards of living. That's logically following from his earlier statements. This is how Vaush is supposed to answer this question. We'll see what happens.
How you live so that we can, all kind of live a little bit more equal.
Wait, so me personally does this for everyone, or you mean there's a bit more economic austerity? You're advocating for austerity politics here in America.
What? No. I don't know what Vaush thinks austerity means, or I don't know what I think austerity means. My understanding is austerity is people that are hyper conscientious about government budgets, and then oftentimes this is paired with a tax on like certain forms of welfare in order to reduce the budget requirements of the government spending. I don't think this has anything to do with austerity. This is a form of austerity in just a different form. The reduction of the consumption of certain luxury goods would be considered austerity. Is that true? Maybe. Well, let's dictionary definition it, boys. Austerity measures are reductions in government spending, increases in tax revenues, or both. These harsh steps are taken to lower budget deficits and avoid a debt crisis. I don't like to use austerity measures unless forced to, but I've never heard austerity refer to like people reducing their consumption of something. Is that? I've never heard that before in my entire life, but maybe maybe. Okay, I'm gonna stick with my definition.
That's not austerity.
You are, by definition, arguing for austerity. Are you asking me if I'm...
Who just joined? Hello?
Oh, I was just going to say, Vaush is being pedantic here, because when people say austerity, they generally mean fiscal austerity, which is what you're talking about, and that's what I would generally understand. But he's technically right that austerity just means having less stuff. But most people mean fiscal austerity.
Oh, that's really stupid.
Yeah, it's like if you were to...
So that'd be like if you had like a really big like budget surplus and you're like, the government is running at a deficit, and then you argue about that for 2 hours, and then eventually like, oh, I meant an ethical deficit. And you're like...
Yeah, it's really dumb and pedantic, yeah.
Okay, all right.
They're going to have this disagreement about austerity versus fiscal austerity for like 10 minutes. Good luck.
Oh boy, all right.
Willing to embrace austerity for equality?
No, that's not austerity.
Okay, let's go to Google again. Hold on.
How is subtracting the amount of living that you take austerity?
Okay, I don't even think the dictionary can say Vaush on this one. Oh man, I'm really curious how he's gonna get to the right answer here, because austerity is a fairly simple concept, I think, but
like how is downsizing austerity? That's not austerity.
I'll leave that one to the historians.
Oh no, he Googled it. He Googled it and he realized he was wrong. And now he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. Oh God.
So, you're advocating for like austerity.
I'm not advocating for austerity.
You just...
We had a mic moment. Oh no.
The definition of austerity.
That's not the definition of austerity.
That is how austerity manifests, yeah. People say, tighten your belts, we're going to need to reduce the deficit. But if state resources are being dedicated to fixing inequality, then that would be...
Mel isn't talking about fiscal policy at all. So it's kind of weird to call this austerity.
I'm asking you, people lowering the standard of living so people can equalize the economy is not austerity. It's only austerity when the government is incentivizing programs that sort of that completely move entire industries to other parts so like
you think austerity is when you outsource jobs? What?
I didn't say outsourcing jobs.
Mel say
industry from one part to another.
That's not.
I don't know what definition Mel is giving of austerity here in terms of moving industry either. I'm not sure, but listen, you know what? Here's a rule, okay? If we're over here in the great land of America, just don't use austerity, okay? That's not our word, okay? That's not our word. That's a European word. Don't use it. Just don't say austerity, okay? We just never use it over here in the United States or in Canada, okay? Just leave that to the Europeans. They talk about austerity way more than we do. We just talk about it under a different concept. We call it cutting the deficit.
Outsourcing. You have to move jobs all the time in the United States, depending on climate, depending on markets. Like,
look, okay, you can spend some time with the dictionary later. I can't help you on this one. Okay,
what do you mean?
Oh,
so
people in
so
Canada
just
talk
so
about
I can
austerity? Oh,
understand,
okay, maybe
so
just
are
in the
you
US we
saying,
don't.
Like the United States
Gosh,
government
moving
taxes.
jobs isn't outsourcing. That's
Okay.
just factually fucking wrong. Me saying you want to move
No,
jobs
it's
from
okay.
another
I
part of the
can't-
country is
I'm sorry, I
normal.
can't help you with this
That's how logistics work.
I can't
Jobs
lead you
don't
out of this
stay in
forest.
Jobs just don't stay in one place for decades. They have to why do you think the auto manufacturers got phased out? Because there wasn't any more jobs there.
I can't bring you out of this forest. You're going down a road I
What do
can't
you
follow.
mean?
Anakin.
This isn't. How do you not understand?
No, it's okay. Okay, I'll take the L. You know what? I'll take the L. Okay, I'll take the L. Austerity is when jobs move. Okay, okay. Austerity is when jobs move.
True.
Okay. No, it's fine. Austerity is when jobs move.
You don't know definitions. That's so unbelievable. You literally think me saying jobs moving from one part of a country to the other is outsourcing?
Okay, no, you're right. You're totally right. Okay, so anyway, so how is this happening? Is the government taxing everyone more, and because I'm wealthy, like a lot of my wealth gets taxed?
No, it's not a wealth tax. It's
then by
literally
what mechanism is my standard of living being reduced? I just want to know because it affects my answer.
It doesn't affect your answer. You can't even answer the yes or no. You can't even do it.
I'm asking a clarifying question. How is my standard of living being decreased? You were the one who was a stickler for details earlier. You should be able to answer this. Are we talking government policy? Are we talking a price hike in commodities?
Would you debate Mel? Yeah, I want to. I think they give consistently dog shit takes. I fucking hate this person with a fiery fucking passion. I think Vaush is just not doing the greatest argument here.
Relative scarcity of goods because we're no longer buying them from the global south? Are we talking about activist groups that are willfully through cooperative measures trying to reduce their standard of living for the benefit of the planet? What mechanism is being used here?
Does it matter what mechanism we want to use? Are you willing? Okay, so okay, fine. What if we just all of them? Which one would you be okay with? What do you not like? What methods do you think make sense for you? What as a socialist, if you obviously austerity is bad. I don't like austerity and neither should you. So no, I don't think the government should be taxing us more or forcing us to move You
don't want the government to tax us more? I think I pay too little in taxes.
You don't want the government to tax you more on commodities if commodities in the global south are more expensive, because that doesn't remove resource extraction away. It's a band-aid effect. That is
what I'm guessing then is you're talking about trade being...
That is what austerity is.
Okay, so I'm guessing what you're saying then is that in this example, trade is being cut off from the global south, which means that we have to buy our...
off. It's logistically being changed. So
okay, it's being logistically changed, so we have to get more of our resources from the developed world, which of course costs more, and that means that everything in America gets more expensive and people have to live more austere lives for a time. But it benefits global economy because it allows the global south to...
It's not just us living a slightly lower standard of living. It's making sure that the same exploitative measures that happen in both places, like the parasitic relationship between the exploiters and the
from my tax
people that are
returns to
being
your bank
exploited,
account less than 3
are as even as possible,
which leads to an increase in commodity prices, right?
It can. It depends on what those commodities are. So if it's commodities that are artificially inflated. So okay. So sugar, for example, sugar is artificially inflated in the United States. So is corn. So is corn. Corn and sugar are artificially inflated
because of subsidies.
We grow so much of it, and to keep costs low and to keep it cheap for producers, and high fructose corn
Which would
syrup,
lead
right?
to an increase in the cost of commodities when it got shipped to America.
Well, the thing is it depends on where we're growing it too. So say we stop buying sugar from Cuba and the Caribbean, and we start growing it in Florida, and we start growing it in all of these places. Then we have to completely change logistically the mode of production. We have to completely change how we operate. And so it's not really austerity at that point, because austerity would mean we would be having to basically pay less taxes we wouldn't be paying taxes on sugar because
I
we'd be growing
don't know
it
why you keep
ourselves.
avoiding this, but yes, what you're saying is that a change in the global trade relations between us and the global south
But it's
lead to an
how
increase in
we're-
commodity prices. Yes, so that's what you're saying. You can talk around it all you want, but that's what you're
I'm not
saying.
talking
So you're
around it.
asking, would I be willing to accept a cut to my standard of living, and every other American standard of living, because we all buy commodities in these states, if it would mean fairer trade relations between the developed and the developing
It's not
world?
just fair trade relations. It's seeing how much of things it's literally changing how we produce things domestically and how we trade internationally. It's not just trade relations.
Okay,
It,
that's a
it is
component of
complete
trade.
Degrowth, the theory of degrowth is essentially the entire restructuring of the entire economy. It's not just people like making a little less money. It's not just changing trade. It's not just resource
Are
extraction.
you like allergic to clarifying? Okay, I
overall.
think we all know what's being referred to here, and it would lead to exactly what I am talking about. We were talking about this in relation to my standard of living, in which case the thing that would become more expensive would be commodity prices. Housing prices would also go up because we also get lumber and metals from other countries. Building new houses would become more expensive. Also, if our immigration system laxened up a little bit, that would mean that more houses would be produced, but it would also mean that more people would come to the States, which would increase the cost of living. So
But people wouldn't be coming to the States if we were changing the way we extracted resources, because those jobs would be staying in the global south. So it actually would
people would come
neutralize
to the
immigration
States because they love our freedom. All right. So anyway,
No, you
if all-
can't just say that.
please, Mel, I'm just trying to answer the question you asked so many years ago. The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't actually even know what they're talking about at the moment. This conversation is like, jeez.
It's not a yes or no answer. These
You
things are
asked
way
me
more,
a yes or no question.
but I don't think you understand the impact of the question.
I
I'm
did
trying
no,
to-
I do, but I was asking about it in context of the relevance of my
You don't-
standard of living. The answer is
doesn't-
yes. The answer is Mel. Yes, the answer is yes. But I don't think we should have to. I think there are ways to address this that don't lead to
So then why would you agree with it if you don't think we have to? Then you actually don't agree with it.
No,
That's such a weasely
hold on.
way to
Wait,
frame
hold
your
on.
argument.
I think what you've advocated would improve the world, but I think there's a way to improve it further that would not require that. But if all
How
I could
do you-
choose,
Oh, there we go. Okay, so Vaush finally got around to the answer. This is the correct answer I think that Vaush was supposed to be looking for earlier. That he thinks that there are things that we could do that would better the world for everybody that don't involve the West making massive sacrifices in their standard of living. Okay.